Hey comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder here. We're here sitting in our final pop-up shop of the season. We're not going to set any of this up until spring of next year. So hope you came by, because if you didn't, you missed out. Alright, so today what are we talking about? Well, we're giving our review of the new film from the DCEU, Black Adam. Gotta tell you guys what we thought. Also, we have some comic book movie news, and we're getting a revelation that I told you guys that I wished for a while back, over a year ago, and now it's finally a reality, and we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. Then we have comic book reviews and previews, and then normally, we would tell you guys, what we're going to have in the pop-up next week. Well, there is no pop-up next week, but we are going to tell you guys about what you can expect at the Creature Feature show in Shepherdsville this coming Saturday. And Sunday, right? All right. I'm not peaceful, nor do I surrender. This is Back Issues. Alright, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. You can let us know your thoughts about the Black Adam movie, or you can just say, whatever you want to say. Alright, so we're going to be giving our Black Adam review in just a little bit, but first, how about some comic book movie news? Alright, so, getting some new rumors swirling about the casting for the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. And it's been a bit of a whirlwind for casting on this one because people wanted John Krasinski to come back and fill the role of Reed Richards. Then we heard that U-star Penn Badgley was in talks to play Reed Richards. And then we heard another rumor that Henry Cavill was being considered for some kind of Marvel role, possibly as Dr. Doom.
Well, they need to get Cavill involved. I mean, this is the king geek on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is what all geeks aspire to be.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's a role player. He paints miniatures. Mm-hmm. Everything that we do in our geekdom.
He corrected the director, I think, when it came to playing Superman, because they wanted him to shave and be clean shaven for the role. And he's like, Superman doesn't have body hair. So then he pulled out an issue of Superman 75, Death of Superman issue, and he showed him, hairy Superman.
Yep.
So
Superman does grow a beard.
Right. All right. So then we're hearing rumors that Star Wars actor Adam Driver is in talks for a Fantastic Four role, possibly for Reed Richards or perhaps
Doom.
as Dr. Doom.
The same as Doom.
Well, if this report is accurate, Driver is in talks to join the production. So you're saying Dr. Doom?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, Matt Shackman recently boarded the project as director, with Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer currently working on the script. And, plot details are obviously still a mystery, but Feige has confirmed that this will not be another origin story for the first family super team.
Thank you. I'm so tired of origins that everybody has seen 50 times.
Right. Feige said a lot of people know this origin story. A lot of people know the basics. So how do we take that and bring something that people have never seen before? Oh, we'll find.
Show me.
Yeah. And, it's sort of a precedent that was set when Spider-Man joined the MCU, because, his origin had been told on screen twice already, and people didn't really need to see it again, and we didn't see it. He started out, and he was in his amateur crime-fighting days with his, starter suit, and that's where we pick up in the MCU. And I don't think they've ever even mentioned the name Uncle Ben, except for when the other Spider-Man talked about him in No Way Home. Alright, so Fantastic Four is currently set to hit theaters in 2024. And obviously, we still have a lot of casting announcements to come between now and then. Alright, now it's time for our next topic. Okay, so you remember in one of our very early episodes when you and I ranked all of the on-screen Jokers, or at least most of them.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yep. So I added a little footnote in that episode about how Tim Curry was originally cast to play the voice of the Joker in Batman the Animated Series until he was replaced by Mark Hamill. Well, one source said that the reason Curry was replaced was because some executive at Warner Brothers thought that Curry's Joker was too scary for kids. Now, I expressed in that episode how much I would love to hear Tim Curry's Joker to hear just how scary this Joker is. Well, now we have our chance.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, recordings of some of Tim Curry's voice sessions were recently released for part of a documentary. And now we get the chance to do some comparisons. So, let's take a look at how Curry and Hamill measure up and see who's better. You guys ready? Old man, you ready?
Hit it.
Okay.
Just for that, Batman.
Just for that, Batman.
Hey, Batman! You stink so bad I can smell you from here! Pew! Pew, pew, pew!
Hey, Batman! You stink so bad, I can smell you from here! Pew! Pew, pew, pew!
Justice is served hot, Batman! You're going to melt just like a grilled cheese sandwich!
Justice is served hot, Batman! You're gonna melt just like a grilled cheese sandwich!
Oh, that's a joke, right? Batman finally told a joke!
Oh, that's a joke, right? Batman finally told a joke! Oh,
Batman! You wouldn't let me fry, would you?
Batman! You wouldn't let me fry, would you?
I mean, they're both extremely talented voice actors. Extremely good job. Maybe I'm just used to Hamill, but I kind of lean toward Hamill. And as for him being too scary,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like after hearing it, I don't know. Like which line was it that Curry said that made that executive say, "Oh, no, he's too scared. We gotta change it," because those I wasn't getting that.
if you were to tell me that they took turns doing the voice during the show, I would have been like, oh, okay. I wouldn't have been surprised because they're almost interchangeable. I mean, Curry's is a little deeper, whereas I've always felt like the Joker had a high-pitched voice, but scary? No.
I mean, and what about the laugh? I mean, I think Hamill has always had the Joker laugh down.
That's what I would consider the correct Joker laugh.
Right.
Hamill's isn't, I mean, Curry's isn't bad,
Right.
but Hamill's is closer to the way I've always envisioned it.
Okay. So we're in agreement that Tim Curry does a fine job, but Mark Hamill was the better choice.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I would like to hear some more Tim Curry voice recording. Maybe I'll get a sense from what that executive was thinking about how he thought he was too scary. But the ones that we just heard, I didn't get that impression. All right, so Mark Hamill, still my Joker, especially for voice work. Live action versus voice work, that's kind of murky. But for voiceover, yeah, Mark Hamill is the voice of the Joker. All right, so let us know what you guys think. Who is, you can tell us who is your best on-screen Joker, and also, who do you think is the better Joker voice? All right, so now I think you guys have been waiting for that Black Adam review from EMoney and the Old Man because, our opinion is very important to you about these things. I know.
Yeah, y'all can't live without knowing what we thought.
Right? All right, so let's head downstairs and let's do it.
See ya.
All right, so let's talk Black Adam. The Old Man and I went out to our local theater earlier this week, and we caught a matinee of Black Adam. So, first impressions, Old Man, what do you think?
I enjoyed the heck out of it. That was very good.
Okay. So, it was pretty action-packed from beginning to end. Would you say The Rock fills the role pretty well for Black Adam?
The Rock always delivers, and this was different than any role I've ever seen him play.
Okay.
He definitely had to stretch.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's playing. He's not a good guy. He's not a hero. He's not a true villain. He's definitely the definition of an anti-hero.
Okay.
And
I mean, a friend of mine was saying earlier when I was talking about the movie with him, he said, The Rock, he's gotten, a pretty good career going with playing the same character in every movie.
a lot of movies he does play the same character. Absolutely correct. Not this one.
No. Okay. All right. So, well done on that one. And I think I remember hearing that they first announced The Rock was going to play Black Adam in like 2008.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, this movie's been in the works for a while now. All right, so there's that. And one thing that people are complaining about that I think has a little bit of weight to it is the underdeveloped villain in the movie. The villain is what's his name? I forgot his name. It's the demon called Sabak or Sabak. And he's a pretty by the numbers generic CGI big bad in the movie because he's not really well developed and he doesn't have really clear motives. I mean, I guess bringing hell to earth is his motivation, his goal.
Wants to rule everything.
And that's the problem with DCEU movies is these underdeveloped and generic CGI villains. You got Steppenwolf. You've got Ares. You've got, the villain in the first Suicide Squad was like partially CGI, partially the actress. I forgot her name now, but all of them are like kind of by the numbers. It doesn't have Loki, for example, or any of the much better developed characters in most of the MCU movies.
Well, if you think about it, the DC characters have introduced, if you take out Batman, take out Superman, and you take out the Flash, you've eliminated 75% of DC's good rogues gallery. I mean, those guys have got all the bad guys.
Pretty much.
I mean, Wonder Woman's got a couple.
Which they threw a lot at us in that first movie. You had what was her name, Madame Poison. It was like Madame Poison and Ares. At least those first two thrown into the first movie. So,
but Black Adam. I mean, if you take out Superman and Shazam, who's he fight? Unless he's like fighting the good guys, which he does a lot of here. I mean, I don't know a lot about Black Adam's rogues because often he's the rogue himself. Right.
But with most characters, I mean, when you're doing Batman movies, like sure you can do 2 villains per Batman movie because he's got plenty to choose from. But like Wonder Woman, it's like you throw in Madame Poison and Ares in the first movie, and then you do Morgan Edge and Cheetah in the second movie. Third movie, like, what's left? Like, what are you going to do now?
I mean, I'm not a Wonder Woman fan, so I don't have the knowledge I would need to really participate in this conversation.
I guess Gigantus is also a possibility. But anyways, that's a side note. Okay, so also in this movie, we're introduced to the Justice Society.
Booyah!
Right, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong; it was a lot of fun seeing these guys. But one problem I had was you got this big, huge mansion, right? I mean, it's bigger than the Xavier Institute, right? And that's a school. And you've got 2 guys who seem to be experienced, Dr. Fate and Hawkman, and then you've got Atom Smasher and Cyclone, who look like
2 veterans, 2 rookies.
Yeah, I mean they look like this is their first mission. So it's like before now it's been just you 2. Like who else lives here? Because it seems like there's plenty of room for other people.
Well, they introduced the Justice Society in Arrowverse, and they've used them some in Stargirl.
Yep.
But other than that, you've got in my opinion, one of the coolest superhero teams ever devised.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not getting used.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the Justice Society in their day had Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman. You had not just Atom Smasher, he was actually late to the party, but you had the Atom, who wasn't Ray Palmer, he was a different guy. You had a Green Lantern.
I mean, Green Lantern still is not being really used in the DCEU. You had a little tease and a flashback in Justice League where a Green Lantern fought Steppenwolf the first time, but other than that, we've not really seen a Green Lantern.
Right, but it was a different guy. You also had the older Flash. Let's see, Dr. Midnight.
I mean, it's like
Wildcat.
I mean, it's like if the TV shows are using them, you don't feel like you should use them in the movies, which, honestly doesn't make any sense. I mean, you got 2 Supermen that are being used right now, and that doesn't seem to be a problem. So, I don't know why it's a problem with, some of the less popular characters.
Oh no, but I really enjoy the exposure that Justice Society got in this movie, and I hope they
you
continue it.
You said at one point it was like 2 different movies happening.
There's a point where I felt like the movie ended. And then you find out, oh no, it's not going to end there.
Right.
And you get another 45 minutes of entertainment.
Now,
good job.
And, I know the answer to this question, but it's like when they're fighting Black Adam and, they realize that they can't really, beat him on their own, like at some point, or even later on when they're fighting Savak and, they know that they can't beat him. Like, that the Justice League is out there somewhere, so at some point, wouldn't you call them in?
Hey guys, how about a little help?
Right. I know why, like in the real world, why, because, contracts and schedules, and, you don't want to, have so many characters in this movie introducing Black Adam, but just from a, logical standpoint in the story, I don't know how that doesn't make sense. I mean, the guy's trying to, open up a hell dimension to Earth.
Well,
But anyways.
I know the DC has, I'll be conservative. They have several hundred heroes in their comics. That's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But when are we going to get a big Donnybrook, a big Slobberknocker, and have a whole bunch of guys? I want Crisis on the big screen.
Okay. I was going to say, you want the DCEU's in-game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. They have to do some. I guess you'd say readjusting. I mean, they're saying that now that the Rock's on board with the DCEU and the new CEO who canceled Batgirl, by the way. It's time to reorganize, and they're going to take the DCEU in a new direction, and hopefully make things better. But excuse me, I don't know
There's
how.
There's a lot of things the DCEU needs to do.
Right.
They need to do a good Superman movie without screwing it up. They need to do a movie where Batman is actually introduced to the rest of the universe, and they did it to some degree in Justice League, but it's kind of like, are we going to count that? I mean, it's almost like they're going to erase Justice League, the movie. But I don't know.
Right.
There's so much potential for the DCEU, and it's like they keep taking one step forward and then 2 steps back.
Right.
They got to get their ducks in a row. If they're going to have one universe, they need to pay attention to what Marvel's done.
Right.
And so what if you copy them? Somebody did something right. Why don't you do the same thing?
So let's take a look at what, or short look at what other people are saying. So when there was some apprehension, I guess, some trepidation when the audience, the critics had seen the movies, but it hadn't been open to audiences yet, because the critics were blasting it, and they were saying,
what do they know?
And they were saying how The Rock is not the savior of the DCEU like we were all hoping he was going to be. And currently, the tomato meter on critics for Black Adam is at 39%. Meanwhile, the audience score is rating it at a 90%.
Don't the critics go see movies for free?
Probably, yeah.
And don't the audience, don't they pay to see the movies?
They do.
Then who gives a damn what the critics think?
It's kind of, well, it kind of concerns me, I guess, because like She-Hulk, it was like it was flip-flopped. Like the critics liked it, but the fanboys were blasting it. So it's like sometimes I just don't know what to think. I mean, I do know what to think, but it's like I don't know why other people are thinking this stuff.
She-Hulk got caught in that it's cool to dislike something trap. And like what you like.
Right.
If you don't like something, shut your pie hole.
So obviously, you know, the audiences are liking it, and hopefully it does well in the box office. I think it was 80 million the last time I checked. I mean, it needs to make a lot more for it to be considered a hit.
I mean, it's not going to be, you know, the last two Avenger movies.
No, but hopefully it justifies a sequel. All right, so, you know, audience says 90%. What do we say, old man?
Oh, as far as how many shields we give it?
Well, popcorn, because it's a movie.
Keep in mind, different scale. When we rate comic books, it's a 5 shield system. Movies has always been 4 popcorns. And I'm tight with them 4s.
Right.
Tight. Haven't had one this year.
Right.
Don't know, did I have one last year? I don't remember. But at any rate, Black Adam got about as close as you can get. I'm going to give it 3.5.
3.5 popcorns out of 4. All right, so
You can thank the Justice Society for that. I love Black Adam. I really love me some Justice Society.
All right, so before we go on to comic books, that end credit scene where Superman shows up and Black Adam and him confront each other, that happened because of The Rock.
Oh yeah, The Rock pretty much insisted that happened.
Yeah, because originally he said he wanted that to happen in the end credits, and originally the studio told him no.
You don't tell The Rock no.
And I believe that Henry Cavill was done with Superman for a while because we hadn't seen him since Justice League. Not really. I mean, there was that end credit scene at the end of Shazam where you don't see his face, and then you see like Superman's silhouette at the end of Peacemaker. So Henry Cavill had not actually played the role since Justice League, and you know they thought that you know they were done with him. And then you know Rock, I think I remember hearing that The Rock, you know, he sat down with Cavill and they had a couple drinks, and you know they worked something out, and he convinced him to come back.
He probably played a game of D&D.
That also possible. So you say critics say The Rock is not the savior of the DCEU. Well, he brought Cavill back, so I'd say it's a pretty damn good start.
Let's put it this way: if they get The Rock behind them, and he starts throwing some muscle around, you might be surprised what he can pull off.
Right. All right, so that's our review of Black Adam. Now let's get to comic book reviews.
Hey, we do talk about comic books.
Yeah, let's do comic books. Yeah. All right, so comic books. So first up, we have a couple mentions we want to talk about.
Yep. This is why we don't call it honorable mentions. And this is Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1. Give me a couple of things.
Okay. We got some...
Just lay those down here and I'll work on them while you talk about the comic book.
Okay. We got some fresh stands in the mail this week for our show this weekend, and we're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. All right, so while the old man's doing that, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1. All right, so in this issue, Peter Parker has found himself in California, in Pasadena, California, and he's working on a big science project there. And, this is another example of people can't put 2 and 2 together. It's like, Peter Parker moves out to California for a little bit, And then mysteriously, Spider-Man starts showing up in California for a little bit.
Yeah, but they definitely got the traffic patterns down. They talked about how long it takes to get from A to Z.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as someone who's lived in California, yeah, absolutely. So, and, you know, it's like in Superman and Lois, you know, Superman starts showing up in Smallville shortly after Clark and Lois moved to Smallville. It's like, what's different here? But anyways, all right. So Spider-Man or Peter is working on this experiment, and at a couple of points in the story, he's having like these nightmare visions, and when everything's normal, the artwork looks okay.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, and then the artwork changes whenever he's having these nightmares, and I suppose that's the point. But you know, it's not doing much for me as far as the reader goes.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. The good artwork in that story isn't that good.
Yeah. To
outweigh the really terrible artwork. Mm-hmm. So I only gave the art. Two shields.
Mm. And you know, there's really not even a really clear-cut villain in this whole issue, and I imagine that you know, they're going to build to one in future issues, but
I'll never know.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be reading those.
No, I'm not adding another Spider-Man book, or at least not that one.
So, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1 ends up with...
After we rounded it up, 2.5 shields.
2.5 out of 5. And then next up.
All right, from American Mythology Productions. I've never heard of them. We have Night of the Living Dead, Revenants, #1. Now, a little explanation. I'm a huge Night of the Living Dead fan. In fact, the whole zombie genre is my bailiwick. But it all started for me with Night of the Living Dead.
All right. So in this story, it starts off with... It sets up the movie Night of the Living Dead, and it kind of shows you how a lot of the characters wind up in that house in the movie. And there's, you know, it even has scenes that, you know, overlap with the movie, like the beginning of the movie in the graveyard when Barbara and her brother are at the gravesite. Now, if I were the artist, you know, knowing what I know now, you know, one of the most iconic lines in the movie is, "They're coming for you, Barbara." If I were the artist, I would have put a little, you know, gravitas to that line. You know, do like a splash page of him, you know, saying the line to her or something. But no, you know, it's just, you know, at the very bottom of the page.
Other than a bigger panel or bold print, there's not a whole lot you can do with comic book dialogue for it to emphasize it.
I guess, but anyways, and you know, it follows Ben, the main character in the movie, and shows you a little bit about his background and how he ends up there. But overall, I mean, first of all, the artwork is so-so, and I'm not sure just how much more enjoyment it brings to the story, and you know, how these characters get there. I mean, I guess they make the jerk in the movie a little bit more of a jerk when you see, you know, what he does, you know, leading up to the movie.
Yeah, he's a bastard.
Yeah, he's just, you know, proud, arrogant, you know, doesn't know when to stop, kind of guy. So, Night of the Living Dead #1. Not sure how much further we're gonna go in this story. Night of the Living Dead #1 ends up with
3 shields out of 4.
Three shields out of 5. All right, so that's our mentions for this week. Now on to our top 3.
And this is where I normally tell y'all there was a tie and what we did to break the tie. No tie this week.
No ties.
Yes. So at any rate, starting in at #3, we have Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer #6.
Okay, so in this story, it's an issue where Death Dealer doesn't even appear.
Well, he's like in hell or something.
Right. So the sorceress is on a mission to free Death Dealer from hell, and you know, she's like has to jump through a lot of hoops to get there.
Well, you don't want hell just have like a little doorway you can just walk right through and you're in hell?
Well, so first of all, she has to find a pocket dimension to reach a wizard to help her get to hell. And so first she has to fight a Cyclops, and then she has to get his eye. And
Well, you got to figure he's not just going to say, "Well, sure, take it." He only got one.
although she tried to go about it that way, saying, you give me your eye, I'll bring it back to you. You'll be inconvenienced for a few days at most, and we can just part like this. And Cyclops
You have to know that's not going to fly.
didn't go for that. So then she gets to the pocket dimension, and before she can see the wizard, he has to deal with his pet, his guard. I'm not sure what you would call it, but it's a giant snake. And it's an intelligent giant snake. He talks and everything. And he doesn't try to turn her to stone, so I guess he's not a basilisk. He's just a giant snake.
I mean, giant snakes can get the job done.
Mm-hmm. So then, once she dances with him for a little bit, finally, the wizard reveals himself. And the way this wizard looks, it's like, you remember the wizard from Fantasia? Where,
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Mickey is his apprentice, and the wizard goes off on whatever he's doing, and Mickey gets into all kinds of mischief. The wizard looks like that guy.
Mickey's boss or Mickey?
Mickey's boss.
Oh,
I mean, look, he's even got the hat.
absolutely. All wizards got that hat.
Right.
Even if they don't wear it, they got one.
But he doesn't sound like a all-knowing, powerful wizard or dark wizard type. You know what he talks like? He talks like Tommy Chong. Like he even says it right here. He says, "Well, man, whatever it is, I'm like, this is my realm. I made this realm, and you can't come in here and start like attacking my snakes." I'm not paraphrasing. Like that's a direct quote of what he says
Word for
there.
word.
Yeah. So that's kind of strange. Seeing a wizard looking badass like this, and then he talks like that. I would love.
Don't you get tired of Gandalf wizards all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, let's switch it up once in a while.
Okay. So, and the artwork is pretty top notch in this issue. It usually is with Death Dealer, and eager to see where they go with it. So, Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer number 6, our number 3 pick for this week, with 4 shields out of 5.
We did have to round it up to get there.
All right.
Next up, our boy Gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
This is number 13. What the old boy get into this time?
Well, we're used to seeing Gunslinger fighting demons and other supernatural monsters, but in this one, he doesn't really fight demonic type monsters. He fights more human types.
Well, this guy's a little bit more than just human.
Ooh, Gunslinger?
No, the other guy. The guy who fights.
Okay. I thought we were talking. Well, in this scene, he needs to talk to this rich guy and get information out of him. So he stops his car and he tells the driver to get out of the car, and it's like Gunslinger has the gun on him, and for some reason the driver / bodyguard thinks he can draw on him. It's like obviously he doesn't know who Gunslinger is. And it's just a lot of I guess poetic or poetic justice in this issue, and a lot of people that have done wrong, which really is kind of what Spawn is supposed to do, right? He's kind of like Ghost Rider in that way.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, and obviously the artwork is on point, as it is in most Spawn stories.
And you know that Spawn, Scorched, all those books, their following has still kept them $1 cheaper than most other comics.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Gunslinger number 13, our number 2 pick for this week, with 4 shields out of 5.
No rounding, solid 4. Next up, Batman One Bad Day is back with the Penguin.
Okay. So in this story, really, Penguin's bad day has pretty much already happened. He had his empire taken from him, and his business, and he was kicked out of Gotham by his right-hand man, the Umbrella Man. And, you know, before this, if you had asked me who the Umbrella Man is, I thought the Penguin would be Umbrella Man. But anyways, he's been thrown out of Gotham, so Penguin is looking to take his empire back, and he goes back into Gotham with nothing but a gun and one bullet.
One bullet.
And so he starts talking to his old contacts and associates, and apparently Penguin wasn't really well liked when he was in charge.
Most of them want nothing to do with him.
Right. I mean, he paid well enough, but he didn't treat people with much respect when he was running things. But still, he manages to convince a few people to run with him. And then he goes to get some money so that he can hire more people, so that he can get a crew together. And that doesn't go as smooth as he would hope. So one of the interesting parts in this story is when he has accumulated enough muscle that he tries to take his empire back. Batman stands in front of him, and they have this out, and, you know, Batman tells him to, you know, stop this and to turn around and all this, and Penguin lays it on him that, you know, he thinks that he was the influence or the presence that kept criminals at bay in Gotham.
Penguin is saying that Batman thinks that.
Yeah. And Penguin says it was me. And he says that it was, you know, him controlling the criminal element, I guess, to an acceptable level.
I mean, he's saying he even influenced the Joker at times.
Mm-hmm. And he kept things under control to where, you know, he only had to deal with, you know, one villain at a time at most. And that it was at a level that was controllable to the police and the populace. And he even said at one point, when he was in charge, that the crime rate in Gotham was lower than Metropolis. Now,
and, you know, why would anybody commit a crime in Metropolis? It makes no sense.
So I don't know how much, I guess, weight there is to the Penguin's argument. I mean, he could be talking. He could be talking out of his ass, but based on Batman's reaction, I'd say there's a little bit of weight to it.
He convinced Batman.
Yeah. So, and, you know, artwork, pretty solid. Batman, One Bad Day. Penguin, #1, ends up at our #1 spot with...
We rounded that one up to 4.5 shields.
4.5 shields out of 5. One of our... We've never given a perfect 5 to a...
Oh, no.
Has it ever gotten to a 5 rounded up?
No.
No. Okay, so I guess... Is it 4.5 rounded up?
Yes.
Or 4?
We have had 4.5 that didn't need to be rounded before. That's the highest score we've given.
Okay, so one of the highest scores we've given. All right, so that is our picks for last week's comics. So what's going on this week?
All right, this week, another pretty big week. A lot of Bat books. I mean, you got Batman Beyond the White Knight, you got Batman Fortress, Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City, you got Detective Comics, you got the Riddler Year 1. I mean, there's a ton of Bat books. But the ones I'm looking forward to are, of course, Batman Fortress, Detective, it's always solid. But also, Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead #2 comes out. Sergeant Rock's my man. Remember Vanished? Last issue of Vanished.
Oh, yeah, okay.
#2's coming out. I thought that was a very pleasant surprise. Really enjoyed that. And what the heck, I'd have to say I'm looking forward to the Thunderbolts from Marvel.
All right. Okay, so those are our recommendations for this week. Get them at your local comic book shop now. All right, next up, let's take a look at what came in the mail today. All right, so today in the mail, we got our October Boxed Heroes. Feel like we just opened one of these because we did.
September was so late.
Yeah.
Now they're playing catch up. Well, at least they're trying.
All right, so what do you say we take a look at what we got here?
Let's do that.
All right, and if you want to get your own Boxed Heroes, you can go to boxedheroes.com and you can get just one just to see how you feel about it, or you can get a subscription, and with that comes a subscriber bonus book with every box.
Sometimes that bonus book is the best thing in the box.
All right, so we got our usual extra stickers and cards here. We have, in the style of Ninja Turtles, it says, super awesome music teacher.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a really specific demographic you're getting that for. Then you have Tom from Tom and Jerry. You have Ghostface from Scream. You have, oh, you got a lot of here. You got SpongeBob. And then you have a crab or some kind of sea creature. I don't know where from. Oh. And then you have a Batman Returns trading card and a Spawn trading card right there. Alright, so that's the extra stuff. Now let's get to the good stuff. Flip this. And then I'm gonna flip this over. No peeking.
I'm not looking.
Alright guys, let's see what we got this week or this month.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
Alright, we got Punchline the Gotham game, #1.
I didn't think it'd even come out yet.
Alright, so obviously that's fresh off the presses. I mean, even says Black Adam now in theaters, so.
Well, I don't have to buy one.
Next, you have a David Mack variant of Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1.
Please don't be the same cover, at least. No, it's not. That's
So-
all right.
Obviously brand new. Then you have a Jerome Opena variant of Harley Quinn 30th Anniversary Special #1.
That's a thick book.
Yeah, that's
We didn't get that. So
that's almost
good.
a trade right there. Okay, next up you have a Stanley Art Germ Lau variant of Wakanda #1, and picture of Killmonger there.
And it's not the one we bought, so that's good.
Yep. Then next up, you have, all right, an older one finally. You have Spawn #39, and we don't have that in our inventory.
Don't think we did.
Yep. So, yeah, we have actually don't have many Spawns in our inventory, so it's good to add that one. Next up, we have New Excalibur #20.
Ooh,
Yep. That might be bound for the dollar bin.
good chance.
Next up, we have, got a bit of an older one, 75-cent cover, Incredible Hulk #318. All right. Next, we have Justice League Unlimited #25. So,
Not good.
something for the kids. Then we have, Cable #74.
Ouchie.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they give us this older stuff, it's good stuff. Not so much this month.
No, I mean, it feels 90s. I can't be certain, but looks like it's in that area. Or maybe the early 2000s. Either way, it's probably not all that valuable. This next one is the subscriber bonus book, last one. And it's a Scotty Young variant of Spider-Man #1.
That's not bad.
Okay. All right, so there is our October Boxed Heroes. No winners this month, unfortunately.
There's some that are okay.
Yeah, but you can get your own Boxed Heroes if you like, on boxheroes.com, and see which one of these makes it into our inventory. If it's newer, we probably won't have it in our inventory for a while. See how the value goes up. All right, so that's Boxed Heroes. Now I believe we're going to talk about what's going on this weekend.
What's going on this weekend, EMoney?
Well, this weekend we do not have a pop-up comic shop.
I mean, I feel good and bad about that.
Yep, but doesn't mean we're not doing anything. Actually, we're doing probably more than we usually do. We are going to the Creature Feature Show in Shepherdsville.
We're not just going.
We're going to be vendors at the Creature Feature Show. And as it turns out, we talked to the organizers earlier this week, and it turns out we're gonna have more space than we anticipated.
Yep.
So that means we can bring more stuff. So we're gonna be bringing our comic books. We're gonna be bringing.
Don't say it like that. We're gonna bring our $10 note.
We're gonna be bringing our good stuff. So we're bringing our good comics, and we're gonna be bringing a lot of toys. And of course, it's October 29th and the 30th, so it's Halloween weekend. So obviously, we got to bring a lot of our horror and Halloween stuff. So we're gonna be bringing our McFarlane toys, our movie icon stuff. We're going to be bringing a lot of toys from Puppet Master and a lot of other great stuff, and a lot of the other Marvel and DC items as well.
And a crap ton of Marvel Legends.
Right. We've been holding back on our Marvel Legends because I've been saving them for this show. So people on Whatnot haven't been getting Marvel Legends from us because I've been saving them for this. So if you want those Marvel Legends, you got to come by. Anything that we don't sell, that's fair game for Whatnot after that. Speaking of which, also this weekend, Whatnot, we are on a 2-hour delay because, excuse me, the show wraps up at 3 on Sunday, the Creature Feature show. So we don't know how long we're going to be, wrapping things up and getting things in the car and getting back home. So we're going to push the auction to 2 hours, which means it's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this week, we have a lot of cool stuff. We've shut down the garage for the season, which means a lot of stuff that I've been, holding for the garage to sell there. That's all fair game now. And it's kind of like the best stuff. I split it up. Like some of it went to the Creature Feature show, and other stuff is going to Whatnot this week. Other stuff is going to storage as well. But I picked out a lot of good stuff this week. All right, so you guys, join us for both of them if you can. Creature Feature Saturday and Sunday. This Halloween weekend is going to be a great show, and a lot of other, great vendors in the area.
Hope so.
Yeah, and I understand you can get a picture with a life-size replica of the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ooh, I want to do that.
And there's going to be a model contest and a cosplay contest. So, come out to the show, have a great time. And also, Whatnot, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, we'll see you then. Now, let's head back upstairs with Thor. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Okay. That's going to do it for this week's episode. I don't have a challenge for you, buddy. How about I boop your snoot? How about that? Boop. Okay, you passed. Flying colors. All right, so guys, Creature Feature show this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to join us. And also, if you can't make that one, Louisville Con in December, and we'll be giving you guys more details on that as we get closer to the date.
I'm sure we will.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, from EMoney and myself, I want to thank those of you who supported the pop-up shop all this season. It's been a good year. Looking forward to opening back up next spring. See you then.